Now, when people feel uncertain and when people lack control over a situation, when people feel socially excluded, they are more likely to endorse superstitious beliefs and conspiracy theories. So I really got into yoga when the way I'd been making a living for the past 15 years as a blogger had kind of fallen apart, the past 10 years. So I'd had most of my friends between 1997 and 2007 were in the writing world. But when I could no longer make a living as a writer, I lost essentially a lot of my friends, a lot of my social circle. I was kind of bereft. And so I became more enamored by things like Kundalini Yoga. That provided a substitute community for me, and also had increased commitment to my Orthodox Judaism. You're going to be shocked, but I have a lot of tendencies towards cults. There's a large part of me that just wants to embrace any group that embraces me. Oh, yay, Luke, we love you. And I just want to go join, any cult that says, yay, Luke, we love you. So when you feel more in control of your life, when you feel more socially included, then you're going to be less likely to believe, bogus, conspiratorial, superstitious nonsense. So when people feel uncertain, unloved, and unincluded, you're going to watch the Luke Ford Show. And you're going to want to reestablish your control of this confusing and often hostile world by engaging in a motivated search for meaning to kind of overcome your social exclusion and to regain control. So this will make you particularly prone to endorse superstitious beliefs and conspiratorial thinking, magical thinking. So social exclusion leads to feeling like your life is meaningless. So you're socially excluded, you feel like life is meaningless, and so you're going to go on a search for meaning, and you're going to look for meaning in places where it's not there. You're just imposing meaning on things that aren't there. It's like the QAnon crowd. So I've been on many searches for meaning. Why has 40 been on all these searches for meaning? A dominant feeling of powerlessness and a feeling of social exclusion. That's why I've been searching for meaning. So when your sense of meaning in life is threatened, you'll likely have an increased belief in miracles and miraculous stories. Do I think that women have sex with male strippers at bachelorette parties often? No, I don't think so, not very often. So when your sense of meaning in life is threatened, it does not generally lead to a loss of meaning, but it tends to trigger a search for meaning that increases one's belief in miracle stories. So I was listening to this great podcast on yoga gurus, and it mentioned one guy who was a devotee of various schools of yoga and had an extensive collection of literature, of ancient yoga teachers. And then he found this dead body in a river, and he decided to cut it up and see if what the ancient wisdom had told him about how bodies worked, whether that was true. And he cut up this dead body and found that all the ancient wisdom that he'd been taught about bodies was bogus. So then he went home and he took all the books of ancient yoga wisdom and he just threw them out. His life had been crushed. So that's called an existential crisis or a spiritual crisis, when your way of understanding the world is not sufficient to deal with reality. So for one's effort after meaning to backfire, it's not sufficient that you just experience a loss of meaning. One needs to actively engage in a search for meaning. So social exclusion, your way of finding meaning and purpose in life has been diminished, so you don't feel in control of your life, so you're going to go look for meaning, look to reestablish control, and you're much more likely to find in conspiratorial and superstitious beliefs. Now, this is a study from Princeton, guys. All right, so what you've got here, you've got these three squares. So this square is meaning search, this square is exclusion, this square is conspiratorial beliefs, and they all feed back on each other. What do I think about Remsky saying most yoga teachers are from a showbiz background? I think he said the most successful yoga teachers are from a showbiz background, and that seems to ring true. Most liberals who buy into the official narrative don't exactly seem to be leading very meaningful lives. Most most liberals seem to be doing okay as far as meaning. Like most liberals that I know are university educated in professional jobs, earning six figures, married with kids. So the elite have become increasingly liberal, and right-wing politics has become increasingly proletarian, working class. Princeton. And there's all talks about the standardized regression coefficient between exclusion and conspiratorial beliefs. And it was statistically significant, as well as the regression coefficients between exclusion and meaning search and conspiratorial beliefs. That when people feel socially excluded, they are more likely to endorse superstitious beliefs.